The Sunday Times said the ex-PM had chosen to reward cabinet colleagues who backed the losing Remain campaign, as well as no tent staff and donors. But a one-time parliamentary aide to Mr Cameron, Sir Desmond Swayne, has dismissed claims of cronyism. Downing Street has declined to comment. An outgoing Prime Minister has the right to draw up a resignation honours list on leaving office. But Labour Deputy Leader Tom Watson denounced the list of 48 names as an example of the old boys network. Meanwhile, an unnamed senior Tory minister is quoted in the Daily Telegraph as saying Mr Cameron's list would provoke anger among backbench MPs and Leave-supporting Conservative members. According to the Sunday Times, Will Straw, head of the failed official pro-Remain campaign, has been proposed to be made CBE, and Tory and Remain campaign donors, Ian Taylor and Andrew Cook, are in line for knighthoods. Mr Cameron's list is also said to have recommended knighthoods for 4 cabinet colleagues who backed Remain: Philip Hammond, Michael Fallon, Patrick McLaughlin, and David Lidington. Recommended a Damewood for Arabella Warburton, Chief of Staff to former Prime Minister Sir John Major, who campaigned for Remain. Made 24 recommendations for Downing Street staff, including a knighthood for former Director of Communications Craig Oliver, and an OBE for Isabel Spearman, who was employed as a special advisor to Mr Cameron's wife, Samantha, but as widely described in newspaper reports as her stylist. Requested that former Chancellor George Osborne, who was dismissed by Theresa May when she became Prime Minister, be made a Companion of Honour. BBC political correspondent Ian Watson said there was little doubt the current regime at Downing Street were uncomfortable with the extent of Mr Cameron's proposed list, but they believe it is for the Cabinet Office and Honours Committee to pronounce on its propriety. Since the Sunday Times published what it said was the leaked information on who might feature on the list, Mr Cameron's opponents inside and outside the Conservative Party have been sharpening their knives, our correspondent added. Tom Watson said that Mr Cameron proposes to reward his friends' network on such a huge scale will not only bring the honours system into disrepute, it will undermine the reputation of Theresa May. It's cronyism, pure and simple, and proof the Tories will always put their own interests before those of the country. Labour leadership challenger Owen Smith said he was disappointed Mr Cameron should use the system to slap his friends on the back, adding that it justified calls to overhaul the system. Outgoing UKIP leader Nigel Farage said the list amounted to rewards for failure, while a supporter of the Leave campaign, Conservative MP Andrew Bridgen, also suggested it smacked of cronyism. Speaking on BBC Radio 4's Westminster Hour, Labour's Gisela Stewart, chairwoman of the Vote Leave campaign, said Mr Cameron was not only rewarding his chums, he is rewarding his chums for having failed. However, Sir Desmond, who was knighted for political service in this year's New Year Honours list, told the programme the list was representative of Mr Cameron's 6 years as Prime Minister. The New Forest West MP said, "The reason we have a resignation honours list is because over a period of government, particularly difficult government in a coalition, a Prime Minister has to cajole and get the support of a number of people, and he builds up a debt of honour. I think that frankly an honours list is a relatively light way of paying it off. I think we get far too excited about these things. The reality is with any honours list there are names that will warm our hearts and names that will send us into an apoplectic rage." He said the list contained people who helped in particular way and deserve a little bit more of a thank you.